Hello. Today I'm reviewing the new song that Lady Gaga has just released. It's a reworked version of her song Joanne off of her same titled album that came out last October of 2016. Where do I begin? So I was extremely excited to hear that she was doing a piano version of this song. As you know, it's a guitar kind of more folk leaning into acoustic song on the album, which is nice. It gives it a little bit more of a sing-song campfire feel. It makes it a little bit less weighted and heavy. And I think, the song is still so beautifully composed that it still carries across so much emotion. You don't mind the fact that the instrumentation sort of is more playful. But now that we've heard the piano version, which is a lot more spaced out, it shows the true power of this composition. It exposes the song more and makes it so much more vulnerable. But at the same time, it feels as though the song stands on its own 2 feet even more strongly. Of course, this is so well suited to her actually performing this live. Apparently, she will be performing this at the Grammys this Sunday, which I am very excited. This is sort of a way of her kind of summarizing the Joanne era and sort of ending on this note. I think it's a perfect way to do that because this album is titled Joanne and it is about the sentiment that is expressed ultimately that she's putting through in this song. So, as many of you know, this song is about her aunt who died of lupus when she was only 19. Obviously, Gaga herself never had met her, but she'd heard so many stories about her from her grandparents and from her father. And she just is so attached to her, even though she's never met her. And it's the familial pain that's passed down, can be felt. And she always felt that growing up. And as someone who is also struggling with lupus, as it is a genetic disease, she feels so much more connected to her. And it is a tragedy when someone is lost so young, and the pain that one can feel even if you've never met them. Now, I mean, it may seem like, gosh, she's never even met this person, how is this affecting her so strongly? Well, we'll never know, but this is just deeply, deeply personal. This is, like we said, this is Stephanie performing. This is not Lady Gaga performing for any sort of pop mainstream benefit. This is the most heartfelt piano ballad I've ever heard her create, and she's got some pretty amazing piano ballads under her belt and piano renditions of some of her more amazing sort of sentimental songs. The clear, crisp delivery of her voice, every note is thoughtfully and carefully sung. It feels so much like a tribute, like a dedication, and it is so haunting because of it. And then there's this spaced out production that allows for these gaps, which feel very kind of visceral and emotional because of that. There's just this slight echo and reverb on her voice in a few places, which does give it, again, a sound that feels like it can fill up a large space. It really echoes and it resonates much stronger than if that was not there. And it leaves you just swept off your feet. I mean, her vocals are impeccable. The song's composition is just so rich and so beautifully composed. It's a hopeful song, but it is so pained and it is so it brought me to tears hearing it because I've never lost someone like that close to me yet. Like, I've lost my grandmother, but it's one thing when someone passes and they're in their late 80s, and it's another when it's someone who is, so young. And it it only I mean, this is a song that is dealing with grief in sort of the most powerful way. How to move on and love someone when they're no longer with us. Just everything about this song feels restated in such a clearer way from this version. Where do you think you're going? Every part of my aching heart needs you more than the angels do. Why can't you be here with me? I don't understand. At the root of this is this existential frustration and woefulness that, plagues many a poet, many an artist. And to hear Gaga go so open like that and vulnerable is just the most cathartic thing. And I know that this song and this whole album was just something that she had to get out and do. She is doing this for completely herself and also for her family. I do remember in the 5'2" documentary when she first played the song Joanne. Of course, this was the album version to her grandmother, Joanne's mother. Her grandmother was so touched and moved by the song. She thought she was doing something truly magical, and the tribute was more than fitting. But she also told her, don't get too maudlin about this. It was a long time ago. Um, don't be sad for my sake because I've made my peace, and I hope that you can too. And I think Gaga really took that to heart, and I can only imagine now her grandmother watching this video and I don't know. I mean, it would probably just bring back everything, all the grief and the sorrow to her grandma and grandpa and to her father as well. It's probably almost too much, but at the same time, I can sense that there's just such a love and support. Her grandparents and her father and her mother, they are there to help her process this pain because, maybe she feels as though maybe her older relatives have already processed this, but she feels now that she's 30, she hasn't processed this in the way that she wants to yet. And a part of me does feel as though it is a little bit more the idea of Joanne than Joanne herself. As I said, Gaga never actually met her. Of this symbolic arc that is created that I think it sort of is Stephanie. I feel like calling her Gaga when talking about her like this. It's just disingenuous. She is processing a lot of emotional, existential things through understanding the loss of Joanne, her aunt. Of course, her carrying that middle name, she feels this connection. So ultimately, I am so moved by this. This is the way to perform it that will really tug at the heartstrings and pull at the emotion. The music video is exactly what I would imagine something like this would be, except I'm so happy to see how just I don't know how powerful she seems in herself and her awareness of her grief and her processing of all of this. She is just so well composed, and she actually is smiling and showing herself happy in these images. It's so hopeful to see because this was a long time ago, and life moves on, and it's hard, and we have to go through these really dark periods where we don't understand and we can't process, but the healing and the growth that comes out of all of this, and of course the understanding of I will always love you, even though you're gone and I can't see you anymore. To anyone who's lost someone close to them, this song is a tribute. And I mean, I can only imagine when I do lose someone so close to me, how songs like these are going to impact me even more. I've been, thinking a lot about mortality, and it just comes with the way my brain is wired. I'm just always thinking about that now. Even for someone my age, it seems a little bit weird and sad, but these are things that are just the only way to do the feelings justice is to put them into music and sound and visuals like this. That's the only way you can possibly deal with it. And so that is what Stephanie had to do, and I am so happy for her that she's able to do this, and I think she feels so liberated because of it. So let me know what you thought about this epic, beautiful ballad. And personally, this is like the perfect love letter that she's giving to us as fans because she has been quiet for quite some time. But it's also such a perfect way to end this era because, like I said, she is really exposing what this whole album meant to her. So we're getting really into, with the documentary and with this, we're really getting into her life, which is something that is so insightful and it makes her so relatable. And the character that she has been putting on has been put aside for a while, and I do think that she will put it back on at some point. I don't know how soon. A lot of people think that she's already ready to dive into her next album cycle and that it could happen as soon as a month from now. I honestly do not believe it's happening that quickly. I mean, I do think there's a good chance we will get new music from her this year, probably later on though, but like I said, we do have A Star Is Born coming in the fall. But to see, the fact that she's been 10 years in the industry now, I don't know. I could make a whole video about just like Lady Gaga, and I do have to review more Lady Gaga albums. I've actually only reviewed 2 on this channel so far, Art Pop and Joanne. And I need to go through and do Born This Way, Fame, and Fame Monster, and I'm going to be doing those very soon, especially Born This Way. I have that review slated for February, early February. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and to anyone who has lost a familial loved one, I know it's so difficult, but I hope that you take strength in seeing other people create art like this. I hope that hope that the love can just continually flow and be a strong glue and network of foundation for friendships, for relationships, for families to overcome and to remember and not be plagued by such a tragic loss. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for this. It really, really touched my heart. So I hope you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe if you did. And like I said, more Lady Gaga reviews coming on this channel, so subscribe if you haven't already to see those. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and light. Bye.